On this episode, I'm welcoming Antonis Politis from Givelink. Welcome, Adonimo. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thanks, it's a pleasure being here. Thanks for the invitation. And I hope we have a great chat.
We're gonna have a great chat. We chatted a little bit on our previous meeting, and I cannot wait to learn more because Adonis said, "I will tell you more in our call." So I'm so eager to learn, and I'm so happy that you're still a student in the university and you're doing all of the things that you're doing. So I'm ultra proud for everything that you have accomplished, your team, up until the day. So how about you tell me a couple of things about you and how you ended up here?
Great. So, as you said, I'm a student. I'm a student at the Apto University of Economics and Business, studying business administration. But from a very young age, I had a thing for entrepreneurship. I met it
Mm-hmm.
pretty young with projects in school, and I realized that this is what I want to do in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have quite a long journey with projects and things that I traveled with in school, met entrepreneurs from all around the world from a very young age, and it motivated me to start my own business eventually. So through a competition I participated when I was in the first year of university, I came up with the idea of Givelink, and when the
Mm.
competition ended, we did pretty well with the competition. But after that, I decided that I want to do this in real life and to chase this the vision that I had because it was very true and very promising. So I took a leap of faith at the start and decided to start, even though I was 19 years old at the time. I
Yeah, that
think
was my question. How old were you when you decided to start that?
I think when I decided to start the project, I was 19. The idea came up
Yeah,
when I was 18, but
great.
I didn't let this number limit my journey as
Mm-hmm.
an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur.
Okay, so since you're talking to me about your background, do you want to tell me anything about how a funny story about your journey that you want to share with me?
So can you repeat the question? I didn't hear it clearly.
Yeah, sure, of course. A funny story about your journey that you're from the beginning, probably.
Yeah, right. In general, I had a really funny story with the team. I started with other people, ended up with other people. But I think
Mm-hmm.
the most interesting thing was how I met the team that the four co-founders we are at the moment. So
Mm-hmm.
last summer, I was in a cafe with my ex-co-founder. Just we had just started working on the product design. We were designing the product in Figma, and we were at the cafe in Patras, which usually gathers all students that study, work, or whatever. So
Yeah.
it was full of young people, and we were sitting on the same table with another group of people that we didn't know, just because there was not enough space for everyone to
Yeah.
sit separately. And the person from the table that was sitting across myself,
Mm-hmm.
listened to the conversation we had about the design and the product, and asked us what are we doing, because it sounded very interesting.
Yeah.
And I explained briefly what we do, that we're doing a startup thing, and he was very interested. I got his contact, and about 2 months later, I was seeking for a programmer, and he was a programmer, so I called him, and like a month later, he joined the team officially. Now, the most interesting thing is that just when my ex-co-founder had left, and me and Paris, this is the programmer I met, just joined the team. We were at the same cafe in Patras in the middle of the summer, but this time it was empty because every student was in their hometown on vacation or whatever.
Yeah.
We were working,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he had just joined the team, so I was introducing him to the vision and all the things that we want to do. And just the one other table that was at the cafe at the day, was a kid that came and asked us what we do, because he was hearing about vision and change the world and building businesses, and he asked us like what we do. It sounds very interesting, and he's very interested in startups as well. Long story short, he was Panagiotis, and he was the third member of the team. I realized
Oh
that
yeah.
he had some talents that I didn't have, and that were essential. So The three of the
I
four
think
co-founders randomly.
I think you would interest many HR service companies out there. You know,
Yeah, right.
if you can just find talent in cafeterias, I think you would be extremely important for them. That's
Yeah,
great, Adoni,
without
indeed.
shipping as well. Yeah.
Exactly. Perfect. Okay, so for all those listening to us, the name of the startup is Givelink. So you can check it online. They have social media. They have a wonderful webpage that I just checked. Very minimal and simple, and I love it. I love the colors and everything. So can you please tell me some more things about what exactly does a startup do? How do you make money? And what are the challenges of combining profit with impact? Because as you pointed out in the beginning, your interest was more in giving back with what you do.
Yeah, right. So one of the first problems that really triggered us is when we asked people to remember the last time they donated to a charity.
Mm.
And then we ask them, do you know how your money were used? And almost everyone tells you no. Or at least they tell you that I hope I know. I think I know.
Yes.
But
Yes.
as we see, it's usually not the case, and most people know that. So, because if you give to someone that is in need, and inside of you have a feeling that your help is not gonna meet its purpose, it's really limiting the experience that you get from giving. And this is why
Yeah.
I think in Greece we have this status quo of people not giving only on Christmas, for example, and emergencies, while
Yes.
in other
Correct.
countries they give like all the year. And we really dig into why this is happening. And what we
Yeah.
realize from a neuroscience perspective is that when you give, the decider if you're going to give again or not is whether you got a good experience, whether you're assured that your impact, that you actually had impact, that your money actually reached their goal and had changed someone's life. And
Yeah.
if you get the small amount of people that get this experience through giving physically, or they have found some methods of doing that, they're getting addicted to this dopamine levels that increase at this, and they give again and again.
Mm-hmm.
So we realized there is a huge issue of assuring people of their impact, people knowing that they actually impacted someone with giving away 20 euros. It's not about giving away something, it's about giving it to
Yeah.
someone that needs it more than you do.
Correct. Correct.
So with that, starting with that issue, and some others that I'm going to analyze shortly, we decided to build the first giving marketplace, a space where people can see a list of charities along with an indicator of how full their needs are at the moment. And instead of giving away money, they can see exactly what products and what goods they need right now in real time. And
Mm.
they buy the product directly that those charities need. And like any marketplace in any shop, they buy products from the app. Then we partner up with the suppliers that sell those products,
Mm-hmm.
and they deliver those products that people bought to the charities.
So you, sorry for interrupting you, and please correct me if I'm thinking about it wrong. If I understand correctly, your model is technically B2B, so your customer is the um, the people, no, the shops, the businesses from which your users buy from. Correct?
Yeah, that's where most of our revenue comes from. It's in a way it's a B2B2C market, but we see it as a marketplace because this is the sense that we have the suppliers that buy the product, that sell the product, have the people that buy the products for the charities, and the only difference is that the charity factor, which differentiates us from other marketplaces,
Mm-hmm.
that the person that buys doesn't receive what they bought, but they send it to the charity.
Correct. Yeah,
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 but
yeah.
our revenue comes from, the main source of revenue is charging suppliers who sell the products a percentage from the income they make through those sales.
And the rest of it?
The other sources of revenue are, essentially we're not charging. Our goal is that we're not charging donations. Charities are not charged in the platform, so we're not limiting impact. And we're not taking, like, if you donate 20 euros, we're not going to take anything out of those 20 euros. We charge for providing a service to suppliers, to businesses in the near future, and optionally to people, as I'm going to explain, who we are going to shortly develop a feature which is called optional tip, where a donor can select to give an extra amount of their donation as an optional commission to us directly. So we charge for the service that we provide, and we not charge for the donations.
And that's it's very smart. It's a very smart model. And I have this question: do people choose to chip? So do they actually understand the value of your service, or
Yes,
are they still immature?
The Greek market in general is immature in terms of giving, and that's the biggest challenge with starting Greece.
Yeah.
We see Greece just as our launch market because it's pretty small, as we're gonna discuss later in the market segment. But it's challenging because people in Greece are not used to this kind of innovation in that sector. Now, one of our core assumptions from the product that we built, the minimum viable product we started with, was whether people actually find value in this rather than just donating 20 euros to SOS children villages directly, and that's it. And that's probably the assumption that we validated with the most obvious. It was the most obvious answer we got from people, because the donors, we have around 180 donors right now. They have donated an average of 1.8 times in the last 5 months. And from the interviews, we see that from now on, this is going to be the platform that they do donations from, because the value that they get, the experience that they get back from this method is by far better than just giving away money. It's a better experience, and it's a better impact. You know that you have impact, and you are assured about the procedure. So something that I didn't mention about the product is that we have a tracking of the donations. People can track the donation until they reach the charity, and they also get an image of the delivery, so they know that actually the charity received their help, and they see the product.
You have already told me some things about your product market fit, but is there anything else that you would like to share when it comes to your ideal customer persona? And is it in your plans to keep on searching for it?
Product market fit is a very interesting thing, and we are now focused on a specific persona for the last 6 months that we have seen through surveys and through the usage that it actually is the ideal customer. This is people aged from usually 28, 30 to 50, people that are working for corporates that are financially comfortable, that give around 2 to 3 times per year, but they do it because they have to, not because they actually get something back. And this is something that we want to change. We think that we see from the traction now that there's a real value in those people. They give just because they can't give, and they give because they have to, not because they want to, essentially.
So you get a positive feedback from your pricing model, if I understand correctly, right?
Because without charging charities has a very big impact both for customers and donors who see that you're not charging the donation, their impact, and especially from charities. Charities see great value in that we provide them a platform that can help them communicate with people, and they're not charged for it. It's for free. This is and from a marketing perspective, this is a very important part of our strategy.
It seems to me as a more gamified approach, which I really like. It seems as if you are turning it into a game. You give something, you get something back, and this is a wonderful cycle. I want to ask this, which was not in my plan to ask, but for the sake of the conversation, do you have any methods of tracking which of the donors come back and give again? Because to me it's very interesting to see are they the same people that give back, or are they new in the platform, new people in the platform that give?
That's a very good question, especially for a startup. Now, we do have, of course, tracking and the retention of donors, and actually, we have not used any of our go-to-market strategies yet. We have tested one of them, which is a promotion by charities, which was very successful. Like one of the charities promoted us to their social media, and most of the donors came just from this. But what we see is that there is retention, and that's the most encouraging thing. To put it in numbers, the average times that a person donates in Greece is 2.5 times per year. Now, as I actually mentioned the number earlier, from our platform in the first 5 months, people have donated 1.8 times on average. So every donor has donated more than one time on average.
Great.
Which is, if we go with that rate, we're gonna exceed by far the market indicator. So it's encouraging because we have seen people that donate 5 and 6 times already through the platform.
That's great.
That's
That's
very
great because it
exciting.
means that you have loyal donors.
Yeah, the people actually find value in this. And I
That's
think
great.
now the Christmas period that is coming is crucial because we need to see, and we're actually measuring this, of course, whether people come back and how many of the people that have donated already come back.
Great. Okay. So since you pointed out the markets, do you have any estimations, any projections about whether this is a market that's going to be stable or growing, how it's going to move within the next years? Anything that you would like to share?
Yeah, the market is very interesting in our case because the donation market in total, as you can guess, it's huge. It's the donation market in general. Only the US is like around 500 billion euros, and all over the
Yeah.
world it exceeds the trillion. However, of course, many of those donations come from foundations, and of course, it's not a total available market for us. But the total market is pretty much stable with small increases, small decreases at some price periods.
Mm-hmm.
However, the most interesting fact for us and the most promising thing is that the online giving market is growing heavily. The last 6 years, it has grown more than 10% each year, and is expected to reach to more than double itself in the next 10 years. So I don't know, in the next 7 years until 2030. So this is exciting because it shows the transformation of the market in digital. Now, in Greece, the market is yet pretty small. Especially during the last year, Greece has ranked below the 100 line. Now it's the 102nd most generous country in the world, which is not
Mm-hmm.
very exciting statistic. Um, but this number is what we see in Greece is that for the last 5 years, uh, it has increased more than 20% each year the number of people that participate in donations. The percentage of the population that participates and that donates increases year by year. And this is
That
exciting because it shows it's an increasing trend even in Greece, not just all over the world.
that brings me to my next question, which comes to your the preferred, let's say, location. So I understand that Greece is not the best place to be when you want to work in this market, unfortunately. But I understand that you're also trying to go abroad with this thing. So which would be the locations that you're currently interested in? And
Yeah,
what other I'm sorry, and what other revenue models are used out there? Because I understand that you're bringing in something pretty innovative, so I want to understand your uh, plan for the next 3 to 5 years when it comes to leaving Greece and putting it out there.
yeah, that's a perfectly good question. So the first one essentially, Greece. Yes, it's just a launch market because it's a very difficult. People are not very easily convinced on giving. They're especially compared to other countries. However,
Yeah.
it's a challenge for us because we know the market better than we know other ones, and we think that we can really, if we can change this narrative in Greece and the giving narrative in Greece, I think we can change it everywhere in the world. So that's the challenge. However, in like strategy wise, yes, Greece is just a launch market, and in the Q3 of 2025, we're planning to expand to global, and the first market is going to be US, as it seems. US is the most generous country anywhere, not just in total, but imagine that the average person in the US gives 700 euros per year. The average person in Europe gives 180 euros per year. It's a huge gap, and most of our competitors are mainly in the US. So yes, it's a huge target. We think this provides a solution to global giving, and that's our vision and our intention to grow into that global solution for giving. Now, for the second part of the question, we think that most models right now are crowdfunding platforms, the direct competitors, which the revenue streams come from either usually charging the charity. For example, crowdfunding platforms charge the fundraisers percentage of their fundraise. They either charge donors like a fixed amount on their donation, optional. And just recently, GoFundMe, you probably know GoFundMe, started to switch the model and started charging this optional tip that I mentioned at the start. Now their sole revenue stream is this as an optional tip from some of the people who donate, who decide to give a small percentage extra to GoFundMe. And that's a big innovation because it's kind of shook the market. Nobody had attempted that, and we're just going to attempt this as well, as we saw it was successful for them. But yeah, usually it's these two factors: charging the fundraiser and charging the receiver, and also some focus on business as well. So we see charging extra for business donors. But we think this is wrong, because if you limit, this is a way to limit the impact. You're not not the 100% of my giving converts into impact, and this is wrong, because giving shouldn't be limited. And the other hand is being increased. So I think that this is something we disagree in a sense with the market right now, with the direct competitors, and we're trying to put this new innovative perspective, as you mentioned.
Of course, and I understand that this is a very it's a rather let's call it disadvantageous industry to be in, because it's not that it's producing insane amount of revenue. So my next let's say question would be, why would other companies get into this industry? Who are your competitors, and why are they competing in a market that is not that advantageous?
Yeah, it's a good question, because the crowdfunding market for giving has an important amount of revenue. However, I think that the perspective is wrong, and the leader of the market, which is GoFundMe, changed the narrative and started charging, not charging the impact, but charging the service. As I said at the start, I think this is the perspective that we're going to see more and more companies competing in the future. Sorry. Because it's not about, it's the perspective of charging for the service and chasing the service, not leaving the donation.
So you need to educate the donors, and you also need to educate the companies that they have something to get out of all of this. So if you could not name, but think of a couple of competitors, either direct or indirect, what would they be, except for GoFundMe, of course?
Yeah, there are a lot of giving platforms. It's also growing up, which is called Givelify, and is an innovative app in the US that is focused on giving to churches and other social causes. There are a lot of crowdfunding platforms, which we consider the direct competitors, online giving methods in general. But the thing with that is that they do not provide any value to the donor. In order to be able to charge successfully for the service that you provide, you need to provide value. And if you're just providing a tool, not a tool that actually brings value, and you're charging the people who benefit from this tool, like charities, I think it's kicking it in the wrong, kicking it off in the wrong perspective. So direct competitors are usually giving platforms that have this disadvantage of, first of all, not being transparent, and secondly, charging people for giving and
Yeah.
charges for receiving.
Yeah.
Now, there are a lot of indirect competitors if you think about it. Giving is everywhere. Donations, one of the actually very close indirect competitions are physical donations. If you go to the grocery store and you buy some groceries and give them to the charity or leave them in the bag that they're being
Yeah,
collected,
yeah, yeah.
this is competition
100%.
for us, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, so we see this as competition and we're trying because I think that there's not any experience stronger than actually getting some stuff and going to a charity and giving to the people that need it. I think this is the most powerful giving experience that you can get. But the thing is that this is a tiring procedure, especially for people who are busy and people from a
Yeah.
persona, as we mentioned,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
you have to go. Usually, another thing there is that you don't know what they need exactly, and you
Yeah.
can buy the wrong things, as we've seen in the past. That's what we're solving with Givelink. You buy exactly what they want at the moment, and we're trying to
That's how you
simplify.
diversify. That's what I understand. So not only do you tell the donor exactly what is needed so that they know that the value that they're giving is going to be utilized in the most effective manner, but also you are showing them the journey of the donation so they can have kinda the same experience as if they would see the people, understand the impact, feel what they did, which is the thing that they're eventually getting back, right?
Exactly, exactly. And the
Perfect.
there's no limit on how far you get on the procedure. As I said, the most powerful thing is giving actually to the person in need. But again, if you don't know how they used what you gave, you cannot see
Yeah.
that. One of our core missions, which seems kind of difficult, but we really think that we're destined to solve this, is to actually reach the farthest possible in this giving. So even if we can just let people know how and when their products were used, this is ideal for us. We're not doing this yet with core model, but it's a mission for the future to be able to track even how they were used. I think this is very important for the person, especially business if they donate, to know exactly how their help was utilized and that it was not. For example, we have even heard stories about reselling products that some
Yeah.
corrupted charities have received, which is
Yes, of
you know
course. Of course.
very very bad.
So
Suppose
yeah, so one of the
we
main
have
pillars is transparency for you.
yeah, just suppose we have 10 minutes, a bit less than 10 minutes, just to let you know.
Great. Okay,
We're good.
I think we're gonna make it. If we don't, we're gonna keep it going in the next one. So, is there anything else that you would like to share with me when it comes to your competition or anything related to that? Or if not, I'd be glad to talk numbers with you.
Yeah, I think I think I painted pretty much the picture. We have a lot of platforms
Mm-hmm.
that are trying to transform giving to digital, but they lack transparency, as you very well mentioned, and they lack uh, tracking the whole procedure. They're also charging for the donation, not for the service directly.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, we have physical donations, which are very powerful in terms of experience, but they're very time wasting procedure. And we're trying to make this into digital and to easy to make it simplified for everyone. So yeah,
Perfect.
let's talk numbers, I guess now.
Great. Okay, let's dive into the numbers. So, I understand, as you told me before this conversation, you told me that you have some clients already. But what I would love to know is, um, what's your strategy for the next 3 to 5 years? Anything that would make sense for anyone listening to us from the investors' part?
Yeah, there are a lot of things that are interesting. To talk the current traction, we have uh, more than 8,000 euros have been collected through Givelink for charity. We have around 180 donors who have made around 240 donations, 250, I think it's now, with a good retention rate, around, I think, 35%, if I'm not mistaken.
Great.
And the app, because we started as an app, and the app had around 25% conversion rate, which is also very good. So we actually validated 4 of the 5 core assumptions of the product up to this point, and we're now We just created a website, the website donation, which is the minimum viable product we are running right now.
Mm-hmm.
And now for the growth part, how we're getting from 8,000 donations to 10 and 50 million that we're planning for the next 3 to 5 years. We have a go-to-market strategy which is very clear for us, and it's starting just at this point. We're now starting to roll with it.
Great. Perfect.
The first part is the promotion by charities, which we validated in the floods of Thessaly that recently soaked our country.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, our platform found great value in providing people with a trustful way of giving to the people in need. And one of the charities that actually collected help and sent it to Thessaly, as I said, promoted us to through their Instagram to the donors. And they collected just 4,000 euros from 4 stories in their Instagram.
That's great.
Like that.
That's insane.
Yeah, so this is a very powerful method of going into the market, is the sharing by charities as a way to reach them. And this is actually now in the Christmas period is starting to kick in. We're in talks with charities and we're planning the promotion from their side. Now, for me, the most powerful way to go into the market that I think is going to be pivotal for our growth in the next 35 years is a feature called impact change. Now, what is impact change? Let's say that you make a donation of like 30 euros to a charity of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
We are suggesting that instead of just giving away 30 euros, start a goal of reaching 500 euros. You give the 30, and then you invite friends and others to join you and reach this united goal.
Yeah.
This is how crowdfunding platforms actually succeeded, because you have a goal and it's very exciting for people to just put a small contribution into reaching that bigger goal.
Yeah.
We have actually visualized this in the form of a chain. So each person that gets and donates in this goal becomes a member of this chain. And in the end of this challenge of you collecting this money for the charity, you get to see all the people that actually paid and actually got into the chain, actually created impact. You can see the total impact that you collect all together. And it's a way for achieving much greater impact that you can do on your own just by sharing a link. And I think that we're really putting our stakes in that feature, because it's, as a model, it has proven to work all over the world with the crowdfunding platforms. And this is a way to make this procedure more personal for the donor. I might want to share this with my family, with my friends, and all together we collect.
And you create the sense of a community around it, which is great.
Exactly. Helping with each other is much more powerful than helping by yourself.
Correct.
So I think this is a sorry.
No, please proceed.
This is for us a pivotal feature for growing into its market. And you can go ahead and make your question.
No. I was just wondering whether you are currently in a funding round. What are your plans when it comes to your next round? Whatever that might be interesting for you to share with your funding experience and plans.
Yeah, so I'm gonna add one more thing on the previous note and go ahead and answer this.
Please, of course. Yes.
So the other method of going to the market and growing is through the API, which I think again is a very powerful method. So for us, it's not just about building our own platform and bringing people to our site. Our goal is to create an API for charities, for businesses, for anyone that might want to put this on the website, and have the Givelink method of donating in their website. Let's say that you do your groceries for yourself through Alphavita in Greece, which is the supermarket. And at the end, you can also buy some products for a charity. You go into the charity's website and you can donate directly products to them.
So have your integration in their sites. That's great.
To turn this into an API that actually gets customers by itself through third parties. And that's, I think, this triple combination is the core structure of our go-to-market. Now, for the funding, we are now on the pre-seed rounds. We have been talking with investors for the last 3 months. It's been going pretty good, actually. We have got some offers. We're um, trying to proceed with some of them, and both from angel investors, from institutional investors, strategic investors. We have all the all the players
Yeah, all the
interested,
players. Yeah.
and we're looking for 200,000 investments for the pre-seed round. For 20,
200,000.
yeah, exactly, for 20% of the company on a €1 million valuation per month.
Great. And so are you currently, is it this an open round, or are you opening it within the next months?
Until we close, we're not engaged yet to any deal of the fullest. So we're looking for, of course, if there's interest from angel investors, we already have some angel investors interested, and
Great.
we're gonna, if we fail to do one deal, we're gonna go ahead and finish with angel investors. So yeah, it's open for people who might be interested to might get included in this procedure.
And we were talking money. And as we were talking money and we were discussing about financials, you were telling me that you're currently raising and that you have some suggestions for funding from angel investors, but not only. You have all the players in the room trying to help you. So, would you like to share anything with me when it comes to maybe uh, your exit strategy, anything that investors would be interested in when it comes to their the how they would get a return on their investment? Literally anything you would like to share, I'm open to listening.
So first of all, one of the things of the characteristics of this round is that we're also having impact investors interested, but that are not only caring about the return of the money, but also for the impact that this can generate, which I think is important because at the start we started fundraising in general from any kind of investors, but we realized that even though we want to have this, we have this for profit, in the whole thing. We need to have people that invest to be aligned with our own strategy and our own vision, which is not only to make money, but to actually create impact and generate impact through this process.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the investors now interested are also focusing on the impact rather than the return. Now, the return front, we're looking pretty long term, to be honest. We want to at least have expanded in the US before considering an exit, as most of typical other businesses similar to ours that have exited are also in the US and the UK markets. So we're definitely expanding there and actually becoming a big player, starting to become an uprising player actually in the giving market there. And yeah, at that point we have seen some exits in the market around 100 million plus, being from either GoFundMe, which is the biggest player, or other software-focused businesses that are also interested in expanding to this kind of side of the market. And yeah, I mean, our plan is looking to 5 to 10 years, I guess. I mean, probably closer to the 10-year line in terms of exit, because we think that this actually can innovate the market, and we want to be the ones that innovate the market before considering selling it to someone else.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing this information with me. I would love to know a couple more things about your team. So I know you're 4 people. Would you please care to tell me something more about the positions in which they are? Let's call them roles. What are they doing? And what is their relevant experience? I'm gonna put experience into brackets because I know that you don't have working experience currently, but when it comes to your academic foundation, maybe it's industry related.
Yeah, it is. But the most important thing of all is that we're 4 very passionate students, 20-year-olds with a very big aspiration, and this alone creates a huge power in our hands, as we see. Now, of course, I am the managing director. I am in terms of the management of the team. In practice, I am the CFO and the CMO as well. However, we don't want to include yet C roles names yet.
Yeah.
Now, the rest of the team, we have Panagiotis, who I mentioned, who was one of the guys who we met randomly, who is in terms of business development. One of the big parts of our model is that we need to make partnership with suppliers and charities. Now, we're working on it with a very big supermarket in Greece to launch briefly, and this is Panagiotis' tasks to bring the charities in and also bring the supermarket in the app. He's studying mechanical engineering, in Patras, but he's very he's a startup hustler, as I call him, because he's much more startup hustler than me, because he's constantly on the ecosystem, talking with people, meeting new people, doing a whole business development, which is one of my weaknesses, and he covers that perfectly. Now, the other side of it, we have 2 developers. Sorry, did I interrupt you?
Excuse me?
I thought I interrupted you, but I guess not.
No. I'm just listening to you. I'm listening to you. Great.
So we have 2 developers. Alex, who is the head of development. He's studying computer engineering in Patras, and he's one of the most talented people I've ever met. And smartest people that I've ever met. He's the top student at his class, and he's a great developer with experience also from even at 18 years old, he started working for a company. And he's a very big asset for us. And also Paris, who is the first person that I met randomly in that cafe that day. Never thought I would lead to this thing as it has now. Paris is a very creative guy, and he's a developer, mainly focused on front end, but he's one of the most creative developers I know. Usually when you think of developer, you think of a person in the room just coding, and not very social.
Yeah, usually.
It's the exact opposite of that. Yeah. And it's very good, and our goal is for him to be focused on product moving forward. And so we have a very full team at all roles right now. We're also having some part-time hires. We have an extra developer as working part-time, which is Nikos, again, one of the most talented developers that we know from the university. And also we had a girl from Spain working as an intern on market analysis, and also Kyriakos, who is our latest signing, who is working part-time at digital marketing. So we've got a team of young people, and that's our goal. That's what we know, actually. We are in the university. We know the talents that actually are rising and are coming up, and our goal is to actually recruit these talents and to bring them to this young team that wants to change the giving worldwide.
And as we said before, except for the impact that you're having in the society, you're also giving the opportunity to young people to work with you and learn from you and grow with you, which I find very, very bright as an initiative. I understand, as you told me before, and I'm going to close with that you are looking forward to expanding your team and bringing people in. So, what is your plan for bringing people in, let's say, time-wise, and what kind of talent are you looking for?
Yeah, it was very well put, because we're, I think, working from besides the startup thing, besides me being a founder, I think I've realized that working for a startup is, at this age, probably the best thing that you can do, because you're allowed to make mistakes, much more than you can do in a business. You're allowed to take bigger responsibility, and even if you fail, the focus is on learning, not failing itself. I think it's the best environment where you can test different roles. You can maybe test social media marketing, then change to digital marketing, to advertising, to product design. You can do a lot of things. You can test yourself in a lot of things, and I think it's the best environment for actually learning about yourself and what you can do. Now, for the recruiting front, as I said, our reach into the universities is the main source of recruiting, at least for the next 1 to 2 years. And especially with the funding, we're planning to hire many part-time talents who want to work in this environment. So the most significant soft skills that we're looking for is people who want to fail and learn. That's the thing that is
Mm-hmm.
actually also difficult. I've met a lot of talented people in my age, but they're still very afraid to chase opportunities, to think big, and to
Yeah.
actually put themselves in uncertainty, because
Yeah.
they have a very closed mind view on getting a job and then maybe doing something like that. You're limiting yourself in that mindset, because if you don't go and let yourself in uncertainty, you're never going to be certain about yourself, and that's what uncertainty in a certain environment creates: certainty for your own skills.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And I assume that the roles that you're currently searching are not in the, let's say, the technical part, maybe something around sales. I'm not sure. Please help me.
Yeah, we have both. We have the technical side, which is uh, we still need developers when it's part of the
Okay.
development growing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's one thing, and the other thing is marketing. It's not sales essentially, because sales is for the start. It's the limited. It's a limited amount of players that we're searching for. We're talking about supermarkets
Yeah.
and suppliers that we go and close the deals. Panos
Yeah.
and me. We need people on the marketing side to be able to create content and to advertise content to help us implement the go-to-market strategy and the social media strategy that we have, which is something that we cannot do effectively. And we're looking for people who can do it and
Yes.
who are creative and not afraid to test and try. So I think
Great.
that's the
Okay.
two main roles that we're looking for.
Great, perfect. So, for anyone listening to us out there, you can always take this conversation that we had and chop it and put it out there. So, to anyone listening to us right now, these guys are looking for this kind of roles. You can either contact me, or you can contact Adonis. You can contact anyone from Givelink, and they would be, I assume, very happy to talk to you about what they're doing and what they're searching for, right?
Exactly, exactly. We're
Perfect.
welcome to talk to young people with passion and vision.
Perfect. Okay. So, is there anything that you would like to share with me? Because before we wrap it up, I would gladly listen to you.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be welcome for anyone to try the app and tell us about our experience. We're thinking
Mm.
very big with this.
Feedback is always welcome.
It's important to get feedback from people on what we do, and I guess we started this conversation with me being 19 years old and starting a business, which might sound crazy to some people, or sound that I am any kind of, I don't know, a special kid that uh, has some incredible talents. I'm not. I'm just a guy with a vision that decided to go for it and not just sit around thinking about it. I think that's not something that you have to be like one in a million to do. Really, anyone
Yeah.
with a dream, if you have a dream, if you want to chase a dream and to do something that seems impossible, you're never going to know if it's impossible until you try it. So,
Until
yes,
until you try it and fail many times, and then
exactly.
yes, it's wrong,
Yeah,
impossible. Perfect.
yeah. So
Great.
that just fail and learn. That's the only thing that I would like to leave as a note. Fail and learn. Don't be afraid.
Uh, yeah, exactly. I'm gonna add to that. It's very inspiring for me to host younger people than me, knowing that they're achieving the journey, they're going through the journey. So I'm very very excited for the next steps of what you're creating. I really believe that it's super important for people to give their feedback. So guys, whoever's listening up to this point of the episode, click give link, follow them on social media and give them their feedback. So anything of the features that you love, give a thumbs up. Anything of the features that you think they could do better, just leave a comment, send them a message. I'm sure that these guys are literally eager to see what you have to say for that. And with this, I'm gonna thank you very much for giving your time, and I'm gonna say that I hope for the best, and I cannot wait for us to have a next interview when your company is huge and doing insane impact.
Hey, it was a great talk, and the project that you're doing, giving the voice to founders that are at the start, is very exciting. I think in like 3 to 5 years, when you actually see some of those cases succeed, I think it's going to be very exciting for you to have
Yeah, yeah, I think so
a platform
too.
to talk at the start. It's a great project.
Perfect. Great. So, Antonio, thank you very much. Have a wonderful Sunday and see you soon.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.